I wanted to do another video because in the last video, I don't think I talked enough about I'm pretty sure it's House resolution that was put by a representative from Indiana that was keeps getting sent back to committee now for like 10 years. I think, if I remember my dates correct. I read the article really quick. But this guy's a Navy vet, and he's a doctor, and now he's a representative or senator. I'm pretty sure it was representative from the state of Indiana. Federal, by the way, not state, as in state house, but national legislature. And he's the one that keeps trying to put out there a bill to look into, refine, and put into code with specifics governing how the FDA will regulate laboratory testing. Now, he's got vast experience being, a Navy vet and a doctor, so he's got a very unique perspective, as well as being a businessman. All doctors are businesses, so that's the point that I'm making about that. But he's the one that, that put it into a bill that it's important for the FDA to regulate these labs, so we have some consistency regarding ranges, regarding variables, regarding methodologies. Otherwise, everybody's doing their own thing, and we won't have a standard for, especially for ranges, for particular markers, for things that can't be done in a hospital lab or a VA lab. They have to be sent to a specialty lab, sometimes called reference laboratories. Now, there's supposed to be many reference laboratories, but particularly about ARUP labs, their attitude is they're the only reference laboratory, which is not true. By them saying that them setting the standard for their own proprietary tests shouldn't require any meddling from the federal government, that's problematic, because we have, and honestly, I forgot the number of how many reference labs there are between the U.S. and our properties. Actually, I should say possessions or territories, which now most of them are independent, so it's kind of moot. But yeah, I can't remember the amount, but there's a lot of them. And so for one lab to say that every proprietary test that each lab develops shouldn't be set to a national standard or have any oversight from the federal government, that's a steep slope. What happens if you have one lab that says one cancer cell means you have cancer? Then you have another lab that says, oh no, you have to have 10 cells for it to be really cancer. Then we have a big problem, don't we? That's the slippery slope that these guys are creating. I understand, regulation can create incredible oversight that slows business, but if we operate business without conscience and without the market controlling the direction business goes, the market being patience, the market for patience, if we're looking at things from a capitalist framework, would be, are the patients getting better? Are their diseases being properly identified and, treated because they were properly identified, or not? Are we disenfranchising 11% or more of rheumatoid arthritis patients because the reference laboratory ranges are 5 to 10 points too high? So they exclude 11% or more of people who do have the disease and are eventually fully diagnosed and do eventually decline. Well, this representative from the state of Indiana said the feds should be involved. He doesn't say the feds should control everything and gain the patent rights and the money. That's not what he's saying at all. These labs still own the patents, still own the proceeds from use of their product or their model. It's not the federal government taking away anything. It's the federal government making sure that justice equality, and true science is involved in this process and not just profit. So, I have great esteem for a fellow shipmate, as well as somebody who thinks that, we do need oversight in business. There needs to be a balance. I'm not saying government control. I'm saying government stepping in to make sure the science is solid, make sure that the ranges aren't so high that thousands or even millions of people are not having their disease properly identified because of one or two or three of very few specialized blood chemistry tests to identify certain plasma-bound markers or certain genetic markers. Let's keep the power and the justice with the patient. That way patients can stand on their own and be productive people in our society. And it's not just wealthy, greedy one-percenters without conscience that run, as antagonists to people who are wealthy who do have a conscience.